Audiobook, I'm Doing Fine. The work with the feeling of personal inadequacy, written and voiced by Reinhardt. Personal inadequacy is a pervasive issue that affects individuals across various aspects of life. In today's digital age, social media platforms often amplify feelings of inadequacy by presenting idealized versions of life, creating a societal pressure that is hard to escape. People may struggle with self-esteem, comparing themselves to others and feeling as though they fall short. This struggle can manifest in various emotional consequences, such as anxiety, depression, and a pervasive sense of isolation. The emotional turmoil associated with personal inadequacy can lead individuals to withdraw from social interactions, fearing judgment or rejection from peers. As these feelings intensify, they can erode self-worth and hinder personal growth. This text explores the complex interplay between personal inadequacy and its emotional, social, and psychological ramifications, as well as various therapeutic approaches that can aid in overcoming these challenges. We will delve into narrative therapy as a powerful tool for reframing one's self-perception, illustrating how individuals can rewrite their life stories to highlight resilience and growth. Additionally, we will examine philosophical perspectives, such as those of Foucault, who analyze the ways societal norms shape our identities. Today's pervasive surveillance, be it through social media or smart devices, creates a modern panopticon where individuals constantly monitor their behaviors and appearances, further deepening feelings of inadequacy. Ultimately, this text aims to offer practical steps for individuals grappling with these feelings, empowering them to reclaim their narratives and build a healthier self-image. By understanding the roots of personal inadequacy and exploring effective strategies for change, readers can embark on a journey towards self-acceptance and personal growth. The feeling of personal inadequacy, the sense that you're not real, that you haven't truly succeeded, is alarmingly easy to acquire in today's world. This question haunts people across the globe every day, regardless of age, gender, or race. However, I believe it is most frequently asked by those who have not met their own expectations. This is a deeply painful issue, intertwined with disappointment, grief, and personal identity. In this book, I want to explore how to keep moving forward. There are countless motivational books and videos on YouTube, but often they fall short. The authors may have good intentions, but they don't understand the context of your life. They don't know how many children you have or how much free time you truly possess. They don't know if you have support, your housing situation, your education, or the experiences of your childhood. No one knows the circumstances under which you were born or whether you can even afford health insurance, friends, or a therapist. Even healthy individuals can struggle with these feelings. But what about those with chronic illnesses? They must confront their sense of personal inadequacy far more frequently. How can anyone feel real, successful, or normal when things aren't getting done? Often, dreams feel like they can only be dreamt, plans get canceled, people are let down, and entire areas of life are put on hold indefinitely. In narrative therapy, I'm particularly drawn to the idea of multiple coexisting discourses in society. None of these represent an absolute truth, but some discourses wield more influence than others, and we live under their weight, experiencing the consequences they bring. These consequences can be quite painful and limiting. The good news is that we have the right to choose a different discourse for ourselves, to find or create a community that upholds alternative values, rather than the norms and standards imposed by the dominant discourse, especially when we struggle to meet them and suffer from the resulting failures. Each of us encounters feelings of inadequacy, failure, and abnormality from time to time. This sensation runs deep and is painful. We start to believe that the issue lies within our wrong self, in our misguided thoughts, feelings, and actions. We attribute our failures to personal shortcomings, often failing to recognize that these feelings are largely shaped by societal norms and the unseen powers that govern our self-perception and our view of the world. The sense of personal inadequacy can permeate various aspects of life: work, personal relationships, parenting, friendships, social skills, or the inability to realize our potential. We may label ourselves as bad parents, unsuccessful friends, or simply as individuals who have failed at life's challenges. This feeling arises not because we are genuinely lacking, but because we do not meet the standards imposed by society. We live in a world filled with an endless array of norms and expectations. These norms dictate what a person should be in every role, whether as an employee, parent, partner, or friend. When we fall short of these expectations, it triggers anxiety and guilt. We begin to see ourselves as inadequate, lacking self-control, or having missed opportunities. The feeling of personal inadequacy often manifests most prominently in the professional sphere. It can surface as dissatisfaction with one's career, the sense that we are not meeting expectations, whether it's securing promotions, earning a high salary, or attaining status. We feel that our colleagues are more successful, that our achievements go unnoticed, and that we are stuck in place. Such thoughts are frequently fueled by the notion that success must be measured by external markers: financial wealth, status, and societal recognition. This sense of inadequacy also deeply affects our familial roles. We may doubt our ability to be good parents, partners, or family members. Society imposes standards of ideal parenting or successful marriage that are often difficult or even impossible to uphold. As a result, when we face real challenges, such as raising children or maintaining relationships, we feel as though we are doing something wrong, that others are managing better, and this perception leads us to feel like failures. The same applies to personal relationships with friends and loved ones. We may begin to believe that we are not giving them enough attention, that we are failing to meet their expectations, or that we are becoming distant or too busy. This can lead to feelings of guilt for not always being able to support our friends or be the best listeners we aspire to be. The feeling of personal inadequacy, as explored in narrative therapy, is notably articulated by Michael White, a prominent Australian psychotherapist known for his work in developing narrative therapy. This therapeutic approach emphasizes the importance of personal narratives in shaping identity and understanding life experiences. White's insights shed light on how individuals perceive their sense of self, particularly in relation to societal expectations and norms. According to White, the feeling of personal inadequacy manifests in several forms, including misses and omissions. 1. Misses refer to simple, everyday mistakes made in the context of social relationships, which, according to common belief, reflect a lack of personal integrity or social competence. 2. The failure to achieve set personal development goals. 3. Deviating from the path in the context of moving toward life goals. 4. Situations described by the expression, "the train has left," which relates to views of life as a forward motion. 5. Life manifestations that contradict one's self-presentation as self-sufficient and self-controlled. 6. Unsatisfactory performance in assigned social roles. 7. Straying from the realization of established meanings in one's life. 8. Expressions of anxiety when a person is on the path to true self-confidence. 9. Self-indulgence that diverts from efforts to become one's true self. In addition to misses, Michael White identifies another category of personal inadequacy known as omissions. These can include: 1. Situations where a person allows opportunities for personal growth and self-improvement to pass unnoticed. 2. Circumstances in which an individual, often unwittingly, misses the chance to fully realize their potential. 3. Neglecting available opportunities to form normalizing judgments about oneself and others. 4. Disregarding various possibilities to position oneself and or others along continuums of development, health, and normalcy. 5. Situations where a person overlooks the opportunity to evaluate themselves and or others on a scale of success. 6. Inaction in the face of emerging opportunities for greater self-monitoring and clearer documentation of one's life expressions. Another type of personal inadequacy can be referred to as resistances. These resistances are shaped by unique life skills and knowledge and can be expressed through various actions. 1. A willful refusal to pursue conformity and adequacy. 2. Stubborn rejection of hopes for achieving a higher status. 3. Unyielding resistance to the classification of human lives. 4. A twisted interest in forms of relationships that challenge the narrow range of possibilities presented by contemporary culture. 5. More broadly, a rebellious denial of modern signs of normality, particularly ideals of self-actualization, integrity, and authenticity. Of course, other methods of classification are also possible. There is a direct correlation between the intensity of experiencing personal inadequacy and the distance between the place where a person finds themselves, whether by their own assessment or by the judgments of others, and the ideal, the socially constructed and exalted norms of what it means to be a normal person in a given culture. When individuals perceive a significant gap between their current state and these societal ideals, the feelings of inadequacy can become more pronounced. This dissonance often leads to heightened anxiety, self-doubt, and a sense of failure, as people struggle to measure up to the standards that society has set. As a result, they may feel increasingly alienated from both themselves and their communities, exacerbating their struggles with personal identity and fulfillment. Michel Foucault, a pivotal figure in 20th century philosophy and social theory, profoundly explored the nature of power and its effects on individuals and society. His work emphasizes that modern power operates not merely through coercion and control, as in traditional forms of authority, but through the subtle mechanisms of social norms and expectations. Foucault argued that contemporary society is structured around various discourses that define what it means to be normal. These discourses shape our perceptions of identity, behavior, and success, establishing standards that govern our lives. In his analysis, he highlighted the concept of the panopticon, a model of surveillance originally devised for prisons. In the panopticon, inmates are constantly aware of the possibility of being watched, which compels them to regulate their own behavior. This idea serves as a metaphor for how societal norms function. Even when we are not being directly observed, we internalize these norms and adjust our actions accordingly. Foucault termed this pervasive influence the dictatorship of normality. This phenomenon reflects how society constructs ideals of appearance, behavior, and success, and the resulting pressure can lead to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. We may find ourselves comparing our lives to these ever-changing standards, feeling that if we fall short, it is a reflection of our personal failures. The expectations imposed by these societal norms often create a dissonance between our authentic selves and the roles we feel compelled to play. As we strive to meet these ideals, we may neglect our true desires and values, leading to a sense of disconnect. Foucault's insights illuminate the mechanisms of control that shape our experiences of personal inadequacy and the anxiety that accompanies it. However, understanding Foucault's perspective also empowers us. Recognizing that these norms are socially constructed allows us to question and critique them. We can reclaim our agency by deciding which standards to embrace and which to reject. This critical awareness can liberate us from the burdens of guilt and anxiety that arise from trying to conform to ideals that do not resonate with our individual experiences. By applying Foucault's ideas to our own lives, we can foster a deeper understanding of how societal pressures affect our self-perception and navigate our journeys toward authenticity and fulfillment. This recognition serves as a foundation for developing a more compassionate and accepting relationship with ourselves, allowing us to pursue our true aspirations without being shackled by the expectations of a culture that may not reflect our individuality. When a person refuses to be or become what they are supposedly supposed to be, it signifies a desire to become someone different, someone they may have never been before. This process involves realizing an alternative identity project that diverges from the models promoted by the culture, yet is still a product of specific social and cultural historical contexts. Exploring this alternative identity project invites us to investigate the very contexts that shape our understanding of self and existence. Such exploration enhances our awareness of the narratives that inform our identities, enabling us to articulate and cultivate an identity that resonates with our authentic selves. In the shadow of personal inadequacy, new forms of life knowledge and alternative lifestyles emerge. These alternative paths challenge conventional norms and expectations, offering individuals the opportunity to redefine their identities on their own terms. By embracing this exploration, people can shift their focus from feelings of failure to the possibilities of self-discovery and personal growth. As individuals delve into their unique identity projects, they may find that these alternatives not only provide a sense of fulfillment but also foster a deeper connection to their values, desires, and aspirations. This process can be liberating, as it allows them to reject the constraints of societal expectations and embrace a more authentic existence. Ultimately, the journey towards realizing an alternative identity project serves as a powerful counter-narrative to the pervasive feelings of personal inadequacy. It highlights the potential for resilience and self-empowerment, encouraging individuals to celebrate their uniqueness and pursue paths that align with their true selves rather than conforming to the limiting standards set by society. To begin, I invite you to engage with a remarkable set of self-exploration questions inspired by Michael White, specifically focused on the theme of working with feelings of personal inadequacy. Michael White developed a sequence of questions that facilitate a rich description of an alternative identity project that emerges in the shadow of personal inadequacy, embodying autonomous ethics as opposed to prescribed ones. This sequence is known as the map for working with feelings of personal inadequacy. In crafting this framework, White drew upon Michel Foucault's ideas about the formation of individuals as moral agents or ethically acting subjects. Engaging with these questions provides an opportunity to uncover your true self, complete with your values, goals, and experiences. This time spent in self-reflection is invaluable. It allows you to reconnect with who you are, moving beyond the distractions of daily life. We often find ourselves out of touch with our inner selves, and this exploration can reignite that connection. As you approach this self-inquiry, take your time and immerse yourself in the process. Writing down your thoughts can deepen your understanding and facilitate a more profound exploration of your identity. By doing so, you create a space where you can reflect on your experiences and aspirations, leading you toward a more authentic existence. The algorithm for working with feelings of personal inadequacy will follow these steps. 1. Identification of requirements and standards. Recognize and assess the societal expectations and personal standards that influence your self-perception and feelings of inadequacy. 2. Pathways to overcoming personal inadequacy. Explore various strategies and methods for addressing and navigating feelings of inadequacy, fostering resilience and self-confidence. 3. Exceptions, unique episodes identify and reflect on unique experiences in your life where you felt capable, fulfilled, or competent, serving as reminders of your potential. 4. Foundation of action. Establish a clear foundation by defining your core values, beliefs, and goals that will guide your actions moving forward. 5. Ethical substance. Reflect on the ethical principles that inform your decisions and actions, ensuring they align with your authentic self. 6. Modus of self-assertion. Guiding principles. Develop a set of guiding principles that support your journey toward personal authenticity and self-affirmation. 7. Practices of self-creation. Engage in practices and activities that foster personal growth, creativity, and self-expression, nurturing your sense of self and well-being. 8. Telos, desired end state. Envision your desired end state, defining what success and fulfillment look like for you, and allowing this vision to guide your journey. The following questions are designed to guide you in reflecting on your experiences, beliefs, and values. By engaging with these prompts, you can uncover alternative identity projects that honor your authentic self, enabling you to navigate the landscape of personal inadequacy with greater clarity and purpose. Question 1. Identifying norms and standards. What specific norms and standards do you not fit into? Which requirements do you not meet? In other words, what are the expectations that they insist you must demonstrate in terms of certain skills, qualities, or achievements, but you do not? What are these skills, qualities, and achievements? Complete the sentence. I have learned that I should be able to, but I cannot do this well enough. Question 2. Emotions and self-discipline. What do you feel when you do not meet these norms, standards, and requirements? What do you do to bring yourself in line with them? What self-discipline practices do you apply to yourself? In other words, how do you get yourself together and respond to the call of pull yourself together, you slacker? What do you start doing? Complete the sentences. When I feel that I am not enough. Insert a list of norms and standards from the previous question. I feel. When I feel that I am not enough, I start working on myself in the following way. Question 3. Moments of freedom from norms. Are there moments when the power of standards and norms over you is not absolute? Are there times when you do not exert effort to conform to the norms? Perhaps at some moments, you protest against them, sabotage them, ignore them, or give yourself a break. Complete the sentences, although I know that I should be. And do. Insert answers from the first and second questions to conform to the standards and norms. Sometimes I may not do so. I may not do this when. Question 4. Strengthening resistance. What do you say to yourself, and what do you do to enhance your ability to withstand the pressure of norms and standards and the practices of conforming to them? What do you rely on that supports you in your choice not to conform? Complete the sentence. I become capable of withstanding the pressure of norms and standards, resisting them and acting differently by telling myself. Question 5. Protecting values. This protest against the hegemony of standards and norms is undoubtedly a reflection of some extremely important values in your life. So important that you are not willing to give them up, even if you become inadequate in someone's eyes. What is so significant to you? What are you unwilling to abandon or betray? Complete the following sentences. I become capable of resisting the pressure of norms and standards because I am not willing to betray the values, which are extremely important to me. I cannot stop taking a stand against And 4. It is in this that I see my truest, authentic responsibility. Question 6. Worldview and allies. When you defend these values, what worldview is embodied in this choice? Where and when do you find your allies in culture? Where is your refuge? To what do you feel connected? What life principles do these people share? Complete the following sentences. I recognize the values I described above as something that could also sign on to their understanding of the ideals they strive for is very close to me. I believe that if there were more of this in the world, it would be a better place. From what these people do, I particularly appreciate the practices. Question 7. Everyday practices. What do you do in your everyday life to stay connected to these ideals, principles, and practices? When you are more in touch with them, how does it feel? Is there a difference for you between how it feels to conform to standards and norms and how it feels to act aligned with principles and ideals? If there is a difference, what is it? What could happen if you were to adhere more openly to these values, ideals, and principles in your life and work? How would your reactions and actions change? Complete the sentences. I am gradually incorporating some of the ideals, principles, and practices. Insert your answer to question number 6 into my life. When I do this, I feel. Comparing this to conforming to standards and norms. I can say that if I could follow these values, ideals, and principles more fully and openly, it would mean that I would become. In the situations that currently present me with the greatest difficulties, I could try. Instead of the way of acting that has been familiar to me until now. Question 8. Dreams for the future. If we allow ourselves to speak with a certain degree of pathos, which is quite appropriate in this case, what kind of world would you like to build by realizing the practices that embody your principles and ideals? What might be possible for you and others in this world? If this world has a place for big tasks, meaningful movement, then what could be your big task? What treasure are you seeking? What do you strive to find or create? Complete the following sentences. When I realize the practices. Insert your answer to question number 7, in which the important principles and ideals. Insert your answer to question number 6 are embodied deep down. I hope that by doing so, I am building a more world. In this world, people will be able to, and there will be more and less. If I have a big task in this world, or in building this world, I think my big task is to. I would like to find or create. I urge you not to rush through this process. If you take your time to answer all these questions thoughtfully, you will make significant strides in your life, moving away from self-deprecation. Every day, thousands of people torment themselves and others, struggling to meet the ideals of modern life. Why do I use the term torment? Because, as you may understand, inadequacy can be both objective, linked to an inability or a lack of skills to achieve something, and non-objective, stemming from the difference between our real selves and an imagined ideal. The pursuit of this ideal may outwardly manifest in various forms, but internally it is perceived as a means to achieve fulfillment, happiness, contentment, and strength, in contrast to the dissatisfaction and weakness of a vulnerable child dependent on their parents and feeling unloved or powerless. Objective inadequacy acts as an obstacle to this desired state. Therefore, we often reject the knowledge of it, leading to shame and self-aggression when faced with its manifestations. If the ideal is unattainable, we conclude that the issue lies not in the discrepancy between the ideal and reality, but in our own shortcomings. To alleviate the pain of dissatisfaction, We sometimes assert ourselves at our own expense, harshly criticizing ourselves to the point of instilling a fear of making mistakes. It is crucial to recognize that both the accused and the executioner in this scenario are ourselves. We create the ideal, attempt to conform to it, and then berate and punish ourselves for falling short. Additionally, it is essential to learn how to distinguish between objective and non-objective inadequacy. Objective inadequacy involves recognizing our real selves, complete with imperfections, weaknesses, vulnerabilities, and limitations. By grounding ourselves in an accurate understanding of who we are, we can identify areas for growth and development while accepting those aspects that cannot or should not change. In contrast, non-objective inadequacy lacks a basis in reality. It is a fantasy about ourselves and the world, often rooted in a desire to compensate for past vulnerabilities and imperfections. While we can analyze the idealized image and the distortions it presents, our focus should shift back to our authentic selves. Conclusion: the consequences of personal inadequacy can be far-reaching, affecting not only our mental health but also our relationships, career choices, and overall quality of life. Feelings of inadequacy may lead to avoidance behaviors, such as shying away from new opportunities or withdrawing from social interactions. This isolation can perpetuate a cycle of negative self-perception, leading to further anxiety and depression. Acknowledging these consequences is crucial in understanding the urgency of addressing personal inadequacy. The therapeutic approaches discussed, particularly narrative therapy, offer practical tools for reframing our self-perception. By embracing our stories and recognizing the agency we have in shaping our identities, we can begin to dismantle the barriers of inadequacy. The strategies for personal growth provided throughout this book are not merely suggestions but invitations to engage in a transformative process. Building self-acceptance and resilience requires time, effort, and a commitment to self-discovery. As you reflect on the insights shared in this book, I encourage you to embrace your unique journey toward self-acceptance. Remember that feelings of inadequacy do not define you. Rather, they are part of the broader tapestry of the human experience. Each of us possesses inherent worth and the capacity for growth, and it is through acknowledging our struggles that we can foster compassion for ourselves and others. In closing, let us move forward with the understanding that overcoming personal inadequacy is not a destination but a continuous journey. By cultivating self-awareness, challenging societal norms, and embracing our stories, we can empower ourselves to live authentically and joyfully. Your journey begins with a single step. Take it with courage and an open heart.